Okay, it is April 18th, and this is part 3 of my update. This is the backyard apples and pear trees. Um, and I'm going to go over a little bit of what I'm attempting to do here, what my plan is, and we'll have to see if it actually goes through and what happens. Okay, so here you'll see, let's see what, 2, 4, 6, 7, 13 seed pots here, and I actually have got a bunch of Golden Delicious open pollinated seeds that I'm growing out right now. They're the first because most apples they are chilled for a long time. They're stuck in storage in cold storage for a while. That's how you can get apples all year round. They're not grown all year round, but they're kept in storage for a long time. Well, apple seeds need a certain amount of chilling before they'll actually sprout. But because they're in that cold, refrigerator forever, they will actually sprout when you take them out. You can just put them straight into like soil, and they'll grow. So that's the case for my Golden Delicious Open Pollinated. I got it from 2 apples at Publix, and then I took them. I did stick them in the refrigerator though, and wet paper towels. And then over about 20 days, 30 days, they grew roots out, and I stuck them in these pots. And now they're finally pushing out here after a couple of days. And so normally, if I just taken the testa, which is the brown part of the seed off, and exposed the actual seed underneath, with it already have been chilled, they would have already taken. I could have put them directly in soil and they would have grown. But I was just testing it out to see how long it would take if I did it just the normal way that most people think of doing apples. There are 2 seeds in here that are not Golden Delicious open pollinated seeds, and that is this this little tree right here, which is a King David crossed with a black strawberry seedling that I got from Stephen Edenholm, who is Skillcult. Skillcult cut. But anyway, this is grown from seed, obviously, but his versions are not chilled any. So they have to go through a period of cold stratification in the refrigerator to even be able to sprout. And so I didn't, I'm so used to having the store-bought apples that I just put them in soil. And so I had a long time that I was like, why are they doing? Why aren't they growing? And I had to actually take them out and put them into a refrigerator, little Ziploc bags, and into the refrigerator. And then a couple of them finally grew. A couple of them grew, but then died because I put them out, in soil that was wet too quickly, and they just got mushy. Anyway, so that's what this one is. And then I have one down here that is just starting to come up here, and that is this guy here. And that is a Kerry Pippin crossed with a Williams Pride. And as you can see, it's basically just the stalk and the cotyledons, which are the seed the portions of the seed that support it until it can get its actual true leaves. If you look down there, you see that little green strip coming up. That's its first true leaves. And so I'm actually have it a little further out than I would normally have them right now, into where it would be brighter light. But that's because it's cloudy right now. And since it's cloudy, they can handle the quote-unquote light a little better than they are right now. So anyway, these are all Golden Delicious Open Pollinated, or those 2 specific crosses that I talked about. In the refrigerator right now, I have 21 additional apple seeds I got from Stephen Edenholm. And that is Gold Rush crossed with Dutch Master. I have Bite Me crossed with Williams Pride. I have Wixon crossed with, let's see, what's his other crab apple? There's a couple Wixon crab apples. I have 10 red delicious, not red delicious, red fleshed apple varieties that are open pollinated, which likely means maybe I'll get a couple that are red fleshed. And then I have to think of the other ones. But anyway, the plan is to do similar to these. Once those start to send their root out, to put them in a pot in the laundry room where it's nice and controlled until they come up, and then bring them out here and then let them start growing like this, and then eventually they'll get here on this windowsill until they get several, like 3 or 4 inches high, maybe a little higher. This one will probably be sometime soon that I'm actually potting it up to like a 3 gallon pot, and then it's going to stay in there for the rest of the season until the end of the year. Same with all of these. And so what's going to happen then is I'm going to protect those as best I can from the cold this year so they don't die off, because I've had issues in the past with at least that pair's sibling dying from 9-degree temperatures. The pot just, like, all the roots died. But I want to next year in February come through, cut their tops off, continue to leave them planted in case the grafts that I want to make don't take, but I'm going to graft them onto established rootstocks. I have a couple that are growing down there in my raised bed right now that I will graft the named varieties onto, well, not named varieties, but they're the crosses of named varieties onto. And then we'll see about the rest of them, what I do with them. But that's the plan right now, is to graft them on so they'll get fruit sooner. And because, well, I don't have a lot of space left, I can't really grow any additional trees. So anything, well, I could technically grow some more space, make some more space and grow some more trees. But I have either ground squirrels or pocket gophers, and they've already got me once before, and that was last year. They, in this part of the bed, because I didn't have this other extension that I made, got up in there and ate a bunch of my plants' roots off, as well as up in the little section up there where I had 4 trees growing, ate the roots off of those trees. And so they survived. Some of them survived, but a lot of them are like replanted there. They're small now because I had to, there was a drought. There's a drought right now, but there was a drought starting last summer when we didn't have any rain for like 2 months. And so they were there and they just stopped growing, and some of them died because they didn't get enough water. And that was on me for not watering them. But I had to dig all this out anyway, and put in hardwood cloth, which you see over there, and put that down in there. And I put hardwood cloth over there so that any additional gopher incursions would not happen, because they can't chew through the hardwood cloth. Okay, so most of these apples you'll see here, the rootstock is a rootstock that I grew from seed. And so whether it has disease resistance or not, or is like highly susceptible to disease, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But we'll go through it, and then I'll tell you what I have grafted on or attempted to graft on, and then we'll go over to my little garden area that I got. Okay, so first, I have this one that I grew from seed that I have a nurse branch on right now, just to make sure it doesn't die while I'm trying to graft it. And I have a graft that I made up here, which is the last of my shell, that I tried to get to take, but it did not take up here either. But I cut it off. There's really bright green wood under the scion and some good buds there as well. And so I recut everything and regrafted it like 2 or 3 days ago. And so Hopefully it will take. I'm not expecting it to, but there's the possibility it can. Down here, I have black strawberry. I think. Nope, sorry, this is hard candy cider. Black strawberry is actually grafted right there. That one's black strawberry. This is Dorset Golden grafted onto this one, and that's just a part of the apple below that I grew from seed. This one down here is a red Fuji. It's supposed to be less fire blight susceptible than regular Fuji is, with still having low chill hours. This one here, can't remember the tag. This might be the pilot apple, or no. This is Bite Me. So this is Bite Me. So that's the pilot apple right there. So that's pilot apple. This is the Catherine. Yeah, this is Catherine here. So this is my Catherine apple. Another Catherine apple here. This is, what are you? You're Hawaii banana. So this says it's Hawaii. That one says it's Hawaii. These might both be Hawaii apples, which would be great. I didn't think both of them took, but I could have just put on the wrong tag. Who knows? Some of them, the tags got lost when the gopher incident happened, so I kind of had to just guess. So there was that. And then here's a sad spot. This one isn't sad. This is good. This is actually one of those ones I talked about that almost died all the way off. And you see, I zoom in there. There's actually a little spot where this is growing out of. But all the top died back, but there still was green on this, so I planted it, and I didn't know if it was going to actually take, or, well, live. So it did, and so it's putting up about 6 inches of growth so far, which is good. Hopefully that'll continue. And then this was where the other Arkansas black apple was, but it died, unfortunately. I had to take it out. So, but it also, like most of its fruits, were eaten. So what can you do? This one here, right in the center frame, that's the Sweet 16. This one right here is Sweet 16. I have a little paper, little clothesline there. To actually clothesline. But I have this here, so this branch that's growing here will grow out at an angle instead of straight up. I'm hoping that I might not have actually cut that deep enough, but I'm hoping this will actually, oh Lord, if I actually focus on it, this one will actually push out growth, but it looks like it desiccated the bud there, so not likely. This is my winter banana. It's a big one. It's got a lot of branching that I specifically made, and different intervals, so hopefully it'll have really good branching structure on it, and it'll actually produce some fruit next year. But yeah, it's really tall. It had an even bigger branch that was growing off of here, but you see there's a really sharp angle there, and that would have eventually, one of these would split. And I kept this one because it was the most upright of them. So all the energy that was sitting down the roots from that, all the energy that was sitting down the roots from this branch that was here is now going up into this branch. So that's why it's put on a foot of growth there in a month, and it's also put out 2 to 3 inches of side shoots here where I did that. So here is the Clarion apple. It's actually got not bad, kind of a glass shape down here at the bottom. It's been hit pretty bad by aphids this year, but I just took care of that. Looks like some are trying to come back, but I took care of it as best I could. I do have a grass right there, and that is, what are you? Let me get up. Ooh. This is the Clarion graft tag. And then, oh yeah, I bought tags, but I never actually did this. But I'm pretty sure that this is the other hard candy cider that I had. Okay, this sad thing that's all the leaves are kind of rolled up like this, is a Honeycrisp apple that I got from the store. Its roots were not so good, we shall say. They were kind of moldy, and so it's probably having some issues. It did put an apple on, but I took that thing off because I wasn't about to let that sit there with how bad it's looking. Hopefully it survives. It looks a lot worse than the Honeycrisp out front. I'm gonna hop back down real quick. This here is a Sierra Beauty. It's got one shoot coming out. There was a little section right there that I tried to get to open up, but that bud died. But this one seems to be doing okay for now. Hopefully it's growing, I know that. So at least there's that. Here's one that was one of the ones that got attacked a couple years ago or last year by the pocket gopher. Same with here. And they're sitting over there, and I replanted them over here. Those will be two that I use for the grafts of hopefully those named variety crosses next year. This is another Tropic Sweet graft right here onto, oh, actually, no, incorrect. So this here, that one there, that one there, that one there. So those 5 are those suckers that were over by my other Arkansas black apple that I talked about in my video last year. So they actually had roots on 5 different extensions of growth, and so I was able to just come through and yeah, I was able to come through and split those up and plant them, and lo and behold, they're looking pretty good, growing right now. And this is one of the growths that were, let's see, I can't remember if this one, yeah, I'm pretty sure this one was off of that one apple over there that I showed in my other video that had a new shoot growing up out of the bottom of it. Yeah, I dug that up and I put that back here. So it put on a decent amount of growth, but it hasn't grown much since then. So I think it's still trying to, figure out what's going on with all that. And here's another one. This is one of the ones that had all its roots eaten, that was sitting up there, that had issues last year. I'm trying to get them to grow pretty tall, so I'm taking out all the shoot growth that's trying to grow out the side here, so they'll grow straight up and be nice and flat. And so that's what you want them to do, because that gives you good area to actually graft onto next year. If it's just really branchy and thin like this, there's not a lot you can do with grafting onto it. But it gets thick, you can graft onto it. All right, before I get into any more apples, I have the pear. So this is the pear that was in my front yard for a while. I dug it up this year because I didn't have space for it, and it was dying in the front yard. Too much sun, too much whatever. It couldn't handle it. So I actually lost all of my Bartlett that was on it. So I had to cut that out last year. And I lost, along with it, one of my Flemish Beauties. No. Let's see here what I got left. So this one is, yeah, so I lost Flemish Beauty. These two right here, this is ow, ants biting me. So Flemish Beauty, D'Anjou pears right here are actually starting to grow again. They stopped growing earlier because I guess it was just so dry, and there's the storms coming. So let me go through this real quick. I'm actually got this having a clothesline pin, so it'll actually grow off an angle, and I can graft onto this next year, a new variety. But one of the bad things about these varieties here that were grafted on a couple of years back, I didn't notice this, but they are very high chill varieties, so they're likely never going to actually flower. And that's why, even though they put on these nice little fruit buds here, you see that that's a fruit bud 100%, they won't ever flower because they'll never get enough chill. So I went and got a bunch of varieties that are a lower chill varieties. So here's a Summer Crisp apple, or a pear, Summer Crisp. And then there's another Summer Crisp growing out of here. I'm not going to do like I did on my Red Delicious a couple of years back, where I had one that was side grafted and I took the tape off and it just tore off. I'm going to leave that on there all season. It's not coming off. I don't care. It's not happening. This one here is a Warren pear that is putting out some growth. It's got some growth there. I just can't really get it to open up there without possibly breaking the graft union, so I'm not even going to try that. This here is pineapple pear. I think this is the other Warren pear here. Yeah, this is the other Warren pear here, which is why I'm not forcing that one. And then that's another pineapple pear there. Over here is a Kiefer pear. So it's supposed to be pretty fire blight resistant, supposedly. We'll see. And then yeah, there's lots of little aphid bugs on it. I keep having to squish them, and then you know, that's bad for, you know, sugars and stuff on it. But all right, so real quick, I'm gonna get up here so I can actually go through real quick. Here are two more that were eaten by the pocket gopher or ground squirrel, and I put them in here. They're going pretty well this year. Here's one that was eaten by the pocket gopher down here that looks like absolute garbage. I don't know if it's going to survive or not, but it's actually finally putting on some growth there, so maybe it will. This one here is a Williams Pride apple graft that I did. It looks really good. Here's another one that was from seed that was over there that had issues with the heat and the lack of water. Same with this one here. And then this is a Dorset Golden Apple, another one here. And then this in the middle is, oh, we actually put on some new growth. Good, a little bit. It needs to put on more, but it had no roots. When they put it in here, they, like in the bag that it was in, they chopped all the roots off of it 100%. And so I don't know if it's going to live, die, whatever. This might be all the growth it puts on this year. But this is the Anna apple. So that's where I got my Anna Scions from. I just chopped off the top of this because I knew it wasn't going to be able to support all that. And I went through and grafted them on. I did the same with the Kiefer there. But you see it put on a ton of growth. Okay. And so, like I said, I think that one's Hard Candy Cider down there. This is my Clarion. This is Hawaii. This is Hawaii. This is your Catherine. You're the Bite Me. And then your Pilot Apple. And then we'll see if any of these other ones take. I'm hoping that Black Strawberry takes for sure. And then over here, real quickly, before the rain comes, this is a little plot that I made. I put some soil down, and we'll see what it does. But I got a bunch of pumpkin seeds, watermelon seeds in here. We got a couple popping up finally. That one's popping up. I think it's either watermelon or pumpkin. And then, oh yeah, there's one popping up there. Oh, actually a couple. I put a bunch at the end. Oh yeah, there's the bunch at the end there. But yeah, so these are watermelons here. Yeah, those are the watermelons popping out finally. Are you? No, you're nothing. And then over here, I have a ton of, I'll just see on this part, but those are sunflowers. A ton of little sunflowers. These are supposed to be big sunflowers. I'm just going to let whichever one's the biggest one grow. And then yeah, more over here, more popping up over here. And you see I ran out of mulch, so I need to come through and mulch these a little better. But yeah, so that's essentially a wrap on all of my trees and gardening escapades. So we'll see. Have to see what happens, but yeah, hopefully all my apples, they do okay this year and don't get too much damage, or any damage for that matter. Though I hadn't really been wet enough, and the next month and a half is fire blight season, so I gotta start my daily walk through the orchard to figure out, is that fire blight? And then hopefully for sure, none of my branches that have the actual apples on them get hit by fire blight, or any of the bugs like collen moth, or plum curculio, or any of the caterpillars that I had last year. I had a ton of caterpillars that I have BT'd for to spray this year to hopefully make sure they don't cause any issues. But yeah, so that wraps it up. Y'all take care, have a good one, and I'll hopefully do an update in about a month or two. Bye now.